Hello, it's Dan here and I am in Montreal. It's Monday the 22nd of May and I've arrived here for this week's ISPA Congress, the 100th Congress, which is titled Identities. So this is the second Congress I will be attending, having attended my first one in New York in January. And I just thought I would just do a little brief introduction because as with when I went to New York in January, I'm going to do a few short videos like this to kind of summarise the week. So, I'll be honest with you, I'm coming into this having been quite busy with various things at work, so I feel slightly underprepared for the week and haven't really put in as much kind of research and reading as I had when I went to New York. But the theme is about identities, and as seems to be a similar case as it was in January when I went to New York, it feels like a very relevant theme, a very relevant topic to cover. At the moment, today, it's the final day for people to register for voting in the UK general election, which I'm obviously out of the country for at present, but I'm registered to vote, and the election's on the 8th of June. Now, there's a lot about identity that's happening in British politics at the moment with the idea of the EU referendum and the vote for Brexit, and what does that kind of mean in terms of it playing into a national identity, the identity of being European or being British, and what that kind of nationalistic view can mean as a positive and negative thing. But generally, in a world where we have Donald Trump as the US president, and we've just had this kind of potential rise of nationalism and Le Pen losing in the French election, but it being quite kind of risky in many ways that this nationalistic view, this quite defensive and close-off view would kind of come to the fore in kind of Western politics. We are a global community, we're an international community, and the idea of what our identity is and how we kind of share stories and we put those across to other people is quite a deep subject matter to get into. There are various sessions happening in the ISPA Congress this week which are going to touch upon those ideas of how we present people's stories and what the kind of universal stories and what particular to people's own identities. It's something in my practice that I feel has come up quite a bit, particularly in my work with Barbican Theatre, this idea of what identity is, and we do a lot of work internationally and a lot of work with people from various different backgrounds. So, for example, we run a Day of Difference programme which very much focuses on this idea of identity and difference and is presented in the school context, which is to kind of educate and inform young people, a lot of whom have views that are kind of entrenched through parents and kind of through misunderstanding. And one of the things the programme tries to do is to address those kind of misunderstandings and bits of misinformation that have been flying around, so young people understand better what difference is and what people's identities are, and see them as unique and not necessarily as being negative. They see them as being part of the people who they are rather than being identified solely by an identity. So this week's Congress and the sessions that are around it are going to be quite interesting and quite useful for me in terms of my own professional practice. Also, as is usually the case, there are lots of performances and events happening around during the week, and we get to touch base with other fellows and other members of the kind of ISPA family, really, which is great. It's great to be able to kind of catch up with people. And now, being at the second Congress, it doesn't have that thing from the first time of getting to know people. There are people here I know already, so it's going to be nice to catch up. We're having a little kind of catch up this evening, drinks before everything kicks off properly. We have a little bit of a kind of a training school, I guess, for tomorrow as well for the fellows, which will be interesting and is good in terms of kind of CPD and developing skills and understanding more widely, which is another bonus of being on the fellowship programme. But I have a day in Montreal today to kind of explore a little bit. It is very grey outside and it's a bit wet. It's a bank holiday in Canada and it feels like a bank holiday in the UK because it's raining and grey. But I'm going to go out and explore anyway. My hotel is like 3 minutes walk from the Place d'Arts, which is where the Congress is happening. It's kind of in the middle of town, so I'll have a little explore around there. But yeah, I'll be kind of recording feedback and thoughts and bits and pieces from the week to my YouTube channel. I'll be tweeting about it at Dan_Baker83. I'm also posting images to Instagram, which is DABaker83. I'll be putting lots of content out there. And also for tomorrow, for the kind of training school day, I'm going to be feeding back to other ISPA fellows through the ISPA Fellowship Congress group, which is a group of us doing at various points during the week. So there'll be lots of updates coming out during this week. Obviously, as well as my own updates, you can also follow the hashtag ML17 ISPA, which people are going to use during the week to post their thoughts and images and stuff as well. So yeah, this is a bit of an insight to how the week's going to go. Obviously, as the week goes on, I'll put some thoughts up here, but I just thought I'd give you guys a bit of an intro and let you know what's going to be coming up. In the meantime, back in Plymouth, my colleagues are working on getting ready for the Plymouth Fringe Festival that opens next week, starts on Monday. The website is www.plymouthfringe.com if you're interested in finding out more about that. I'm also working on that while being away, which is kind of a bit insane being out of the country. But yeah, so a little bit of an update there, but I will keep you guys posted on what happens during the week. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys again soon. Cheers.